Yes, you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so I am Meera Venkatesan and I'm from Bangalore, India. And looks like I am one of the last storytellers. I mean, probably a few more, two more, I think,
Mm,
of today. Um, I would like to start by saying a big thank you to Eric. I think this has been so wonderful the last week and this. Uh, I sort of remembered the time when we used to have the radio running in the background all the time at home, and the music was going on all the time. So it was like that the last week and this the last weekend. So the stories were going on all the time. Whatever I was doing, sometimes I was able to watch, but at least I tried to hear most of them, and they were so amazing. And I'm really, really glad that I am a tiny part of this experience. The story that I want to share with you today is, I would call it a semi historical, semi legend. This is based on a third century king of India. There was a great king, Samudragupta, who had four sons, all the four of them quite accomplished. The first one, Vararuchi. He is known as one of the fathers of grammar of Sanskrit language. He was also an astronomer. The second, Vikramaditya, is still today known as one of the greatest kings India ever had. The third son, Bhatti, he was a loyal brother to Vikram. He followed him wherever he went. He was known for his street smartness and the way he used diplomacy in dealing with things. He was a Lakshmana, as Lakshmana to Rama, so Bhatti was to Vikramaditya. And there are many, many legends about both of them. And the fourth king, about whom today's story I'm going to narrate, was Bhartrhari. Now, Bhartrhari didn't have any of the other claims to fame that his three brothers had. He was a born romantic. He thought life was to be enjoyed in everything that it had to offer, especially love. When he became the king, after his father, since he was the eldest, well, he ensured that he spent his time enjoying every little pleasure that was there available. He had 100 queens, it seems. And his kingdom, his people, well, they weren't too happy, but it wasn't bad either. And they, as in Sanskrit, they say, Yatha Raja Tata Praja. As the king is, so the people. So the kingdom of Bhartrhari followed in his footsteps. Well, once it so happened that there was a very old Brahmin in the kingdom who learned something very interesting. It was a knowledge, it was a way of praying to God. He wanted to try it out. He was quite old, but he had an insatiable thirst for learning. So he tried it out. He tried out the prayer, and they say the goddess appeared in front of him and gave him a very luscious, red, juicy pomegranate fruit. And she told him, My son, anyone who eats this fruit will stay young forever. Young, and the beauty will remain intact. They will never get old. Of course, the Brahmin accepted the pomegranate fruit. But when he came home, he thought about it. He was an old man. He didn't have any interest in living too long anymore. What was he going to do with youth? And then he decided the best person in this kingdom to have this fruit would be the king, Bhartrhari. And so he went to the king's court, where the king was engaged in telling out his poetry. Bhartrahari was very famous. He was a great poet. He had written a set of 100 verses on love, which is known as Shringara Shataka, 100 verses of love. And he was engaged in reading out his beautiful verses to his courtiers. What is the best thing to see? The love-filled face of your dear light beloved. What is the best thing to smell? Her breath. What is the best thing to listen? Her honey-dipped words. And what is meditation? It is her ecstasy. And everyone were appreciating him. And the minister went and told him, there's a Brahmin here who wants to meet you. So the king asked the Brahmin to come in. The priest, the Brahmin, the wise man rather, he handed over the fruit to the king and told him all about it. It was handed to him by the goddess, and if he did eat it, he would remain young forever. Now this appealed to the king. This seemed something really wonderful. So he thanked the Brahmin and gave him enough money to keep him safe and sound so that he could live his livelihood, and sent him away. And as the king looked at the fruit, tossed it and turned it, a thought came to him. A true romantic that he was. Isn't it more important that the one I love get this youth and beauty? That would mean that she would love me more. And so he decided to do just that. He went to his favorite queen's chamber. Her name was Pingala. Pingala was waiting for the king to come, and he held the fruit behind his back. And as he came in, she rushed out to greet him and meet him. I have something very special for you, he said. What is it? I don't think there can be anything which is more special than you. He was pleased. And he gave the fruit. A fruit? Yes, but it's not an ordinary fruit. If you eat this fruit, you will remain young and beautiful forever. Oh, that is the best gift that you can give me, she said, falling into his arms. Well, the king was quite happy with his decision. Now, after the king left, Pingala thought about it. Now the king wants me to be young and beautiful because he wants pleasure. It's not that he loves me. You see, Pingala was in love with the king's charioteer even before she married the king. And then the king's eyes fell on her. And those days, nobody could refuse a king. And so it happened that she did marry him. But she hadn't given up on her lover. How could she? He was her true love. Why should I humor this king? She thought. I will give it to my love. And he is aging slightly. It'll help him. He will be young and handsome forever. And so she took the fruit with her to their rendezvous, where she used to meet him every day. He was waiting. Where's the food? I'm hungry. She used to give him food every day. Today, I've got something special for you. What is it? A fruit? A fruit? Well, it's not an ordinary fruit. If you do eat this fruit, you will be young and handsome forever, my love. And this is the best gift that I can give you. The charioteer took the fruit. But he hadn't forgotten how he had been betrayed. She wants me to remain young and handsome forever. Why? It's because she wants my love. I will not do this. And so he took the fruit with him to his lady love, whom he used to meet every night. Now she happened to be a maid in the king's court. He took the fruit to her and gave it to her and said, "My love, I have got this fruit with great difficulty. It is a magic fruit. It is meant for you and only you. You should eat it. Then you will remain young and beautiful forever." And the maid took the fruit. But then she thought about it. I am, after all, a maid. What kind of life do I lead? Nothing much. I serve at the mercy of these big people. What am I going to do with youth and beauty? I know what I will do. I will give it to the king. He will appreciate me. Maybe he will even reward me. And then I don't have to live this miserable life anymore. And so she did just that. She went to the king's chamber and requested an audience with him. And when the king looked at her, he was shocked. "How did you get this fruit?" "I just got it. My lover gave it to me." "Who is he?" The charioteer was summoned. "How did you get this fruit?" He couldn't say. He tried not to tell, but then they did get the truth out of him. And the queen came into the court. When Bhartrhari saw that his queen had given the fruit to the charioteer, he suddenly realized that all his thoughts of pleasure and happiness and beauty and attachment were quite meaningless. And he went on to write 100 verses of Vairagya, renunciation. The maid my true heart loves does not love me truly. She seeks another man and another maid loves he. Oh, fie on her, him, love, and me. And he left the kingdom with his brother Vikramaditya and then went on to be an ascetic or a sage. So that is an interesting story of the 100 verses of love and renunciation. Now, this story, as in many of the Oriental cultures, there is a lot of emphasis on giving up attachment or that desire is something which causes pain ultimately. So this story somewhere falls into that category. But I would say, in my point of view, what I feel when I hear this story is that most things in life need to be taken with a pinch of salt. Thank you.
I have to say, I love the story. I've never heard that story before. And that the Brahmin, at the beginning, he started it off like, he's the only one who really did well on this, actually, because he was given a gift to live the rest of his life out in, comfort, which he wouldn't normally have gotten. So he was the only one, and he came from a place of pure giving. Everybody else had some need that they were looking for. They didn't want to be the need, they were looking for the need. And that it went full circle is where the comedy comes in for me. As much as you think, hey, I'm paying it forward, I'm passing it on, it's with a good heart. The truth is, there was something in it for you, and it wasn't an open, complete heart. And so that's a great story. Thank you very much. I love pomegranates. I'll never look at them the same way, and I'll start eating more of them. Maybe I will stay young and healthy forever.
Thank you so much, Judy. Thank you. In
Again,
fact, I hadn't looked at the story that way. You gave me a different perspective. Thank you so much.
There was, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. So I remember reading this and it intrigued me the way you said it. Very, very well said. And what I felt, what happened after that was destiny usually, this was supposed to happen. If the brother didn't leave, Vikramaditya would not have returned back to uh, his kingdom, and then we wouldn't have the Vikram and Betal series. So, destiny has a funny way of doing things. This is a one beautiful story. Thank you for bringing it. It's one of our oldest stories. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Meera. Now, is Debaranti here? Debaranti Banerjee? I don't think she's here. She's not here. So that means we have one storyteller left, Mary Louise Chown. But before you tell, I just want to say something about this process. It's really wonderful, I feel, because as a team, as a community, we're conducting a storytelling workshop with each other. I haven't told the story this today. I'll send. Did some of you see my telling of the story of how I met President Donald Trump? None of you saw that? Yeah, Manisha, you saw it. I'll send everyone the recording again. But I think it's just wonderful that in a supportive, constructive way, we're coaching each other. And Judy, really, I have to thank you especially today. You've been here many hours and given a lot of feedback to people.
Well, there was one workshop I did yesterday, I think, because things blur into things, so I
Right.
don't even know how you're seeing straight. But the workshop was, it really is about being an honest listening
Mhm.
for people, and then coming from that place.
Right.
So whatever I'm giving to people is because I'm honestly listening, and that's such a gift to hearing everybody's stories. I love stories, and I feel, having had this opportunity, that there is such a gift in that people from all over are getting together and sharing.
Mhm.
That's what this is. It's sharing.
Yeah.
And with so much going on in the world that is so disruptive, and everybody seems to be other, right? It's the other, rather than it's us.
Mhm.
And it really, I see it as us. But so thank you for the acknowledgement, Eric. But if anybody deserves acknowledgement, though I do want to see Trump, okay, but if anybody deserves acknowledgement, is that you're still standing, okay? After everything you've done, you're still standing. There's a song you should check out, Still Standing After All This Time.
Yeah, I'm standing, but as I say, I'm not able to give the quality of feedback that I should. I'm not able to concentrate on the stories the way I should, because it's just too much. So we'll refine the process so that my mind doesn't turn to mush like it does.
But you did say that you were going to go over the things and then at a later time give the feedback. That's the wonder
Yeah.
about recording, is
Mhm.
that, and actually, I think that that's even a greater gift than at this moment, because
Mhm.
when you go back, it will be with fresh eyes, and it will be listening just in that moment, and it's there, right?
Mhm.
It won't be okay, because when you hear one person, it's hard not to then go into the next person with some of what, with that other person. You'll
Mhm.
be going into them fresh. So I
Right.
think that's a really great gift.
I can't promise I'll give feedback to everybody like that, but I'll do my best.
Sorry. I shouldn't have said anything.
No, it's correct. And I want people also to keep in mind that what we're doing this month is very similar to what we do on the first Monday of each month. And it's the same email group. Judy, I don't think you've attended yet on a Monday night, but on the first Monday of each month, we do a session with only 7 storytellers. And it's almost the same thing as this. So
I had no idea that. And is it the when you say email, it's a Zoom link, you mean? Or
yeah, I send a Zoom link, and
okay.
it's the same email.
I would love to do that. I had no idea.
Yeah.
This is the first I had heard about this group, and that was through my other group. So I've been very grateful because this has been an amazing, just amazing for me.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, Mary Louise, are you ready? Yes?
Yes.
You have the honor, the privilege, and the duty of being the final storyteller of the weekend.
No kidding.
Yes.
Oh, wow. All right. Well,